Alright, the distance formula. We're going to talk about the distance formula. Now, the distance formula is the length. It's a formula to calculate the length of a segment when you know the endpoints of the segment. So, if I have a segment and I'm going from x1, y1 to x2, y2, the distance formula is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 quantity squared minus, plus y2 minus y1 quantity squared. Now, that is big and messy, and there's a lot of chance for error in there. Other ways that you can do this is you can draw in the right triangle from one point to the next, just like you were doing slope. Figure out your A here, your B here, and this is your distance that you're looking for. So that's your distance. That's this number right here. Your distance squared can be equal to A squared plus B squared if you know what those answers are. But there's also a different way that you can do this, and when I get to my example, I'll show you. Now, without knowing the example, let's say that A has the coordinates -1, 4, and B has the coordinates 7, 6. And you want to find AB. Well, we'd use the distance formula, which is that big guy up there, that squared plus this squared, y2 minus y1. That's a lot of stuff to do. If you throw that in there, it's very, very difficult to do. One way that I like to do this is I like to make a table. Take a point. I'll take B first, 7, 6. I put the x value because there's my x value. There's my y value. I have 7, 6. And then I'll put the next point. Since they're coordinates, we should put them in parentheses. That's -1, 4. And now, since it's subtracting the x's, I'm going to subtract. 7 minus a -1 is 7 plus 1, which is 8. 6 minus 4 is a 2. So now, if I do this, this would be my A value, this would be my B value, and I can go to the formula D squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, and say, well, D squared is equal to 8 squared plus 2 squared. D squared is equal to 64 plus 4. So D squared is equal to 68. Now, in order to get my final answer, take the square root of both sides. D is equal to the square root of 68. And then simplify if needed. And a lot of times I say don't worry about simplifying because this will tell me if you found the right differences, if you squared them, and if you got that final result. Once you get 68 is between 64 and 81, so this is between 8 and 9. Once you get 8.17 or whatever it's going to be, I can't tell if you did what you did the right way. So, me seeing this, if I see this and I see this, from here, I know that you're doing the right thing. So, that's a way of doing it. Or you could just plug and chug into this monster equation, and I would not recommend that. There are easier ways to do it, accomplishing the exact same thing, because right here, that's x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. Good to go. We squared them over here. Remember, when you square, always positive. D is always positive. D should never be negative. The x's and the y's can be as negative and positive as they want, but not the other ones.